haven't posted in a while, but I just thought I'd bring you this video because I'm harvesting some of my rosemary out of the garden, and I thought I'd show you what I do with it. I'm making it into a powder to make seasonings to go on my roast vegetables, my roast potatoes, to sprinkle on chips and meats, all these sort of things, and to put into white sauces. We absolutely love it at home, and I just thought I'd show what I'm doing. I've obviously done other things with my herbs as well. I've frozen a batch of fresh herbs. I've also made flavour cubes, which I've used a lot of, but this I just can't do without. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Also got this new gadget, which I am really loving. I haven't had one before. I've always used a pestle and mortar, but it doesn't grind it quite as fine as this machine. And with the rosemary, it's quite fibrous, so then you have to sort of sieve it in between and get the finer dust, which is what you're after. So with this, it does help. So I'll show you what I'm doing. I've also been growing some squashes. As we've been in lockdown, I've sort of just been spending a lot of time in the garden. A nice marrow there. And I've just been growing lots of fruit and veg. Here's some of the herbs I've harvested. I'm just waiting for them to dry out. They look so gorgeous. Just love the way they all look when they're drying around the house. I'm just washing all of my rosemary, and then I'll drain it and just spin it in the salad spinner to get any of the moisture out. Okay, I've salad spun these and they're actually quite dry to the touch, so now I'm going to hang them all up. I don't hang them in bunches. I have a load of pins along a shelf and I just hook them on the pins, and so they've got lots of air flowing around them. And being rosemary, it dries quite quickly. I mean, this is going to dry generally in about a week. I will hang it over the Aga or just around a nice warm room. So these are all the cut herbs. I've just pinned them above the Aga, so a nice gentle heat, and they'll dry in a matter of days, I should think. Also, thanks to my mum for bringing me a load of herbs over as well. Some really nice bay leaves, some thyme, lots of nice herbs, and the rosemary there. So I'll leave those for 2 to 5 days just to dry out nicely. Okay, all my rosemary is dry. I have put another few batches around the house ready. Now this little gadget I got from Argos. It's a Cookworks herb and coffee grinder. It was around the £22 mark, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go, and actually I am really pleased with it. I think perhaps you could get a higher wattage one if you needed it to grind finer, because this doesn't grind everything really fine. I found with my peppercorns, if you can see in there, it was still quite large chunks in there, and I had to use a pestle and mortar just to make it finer, just to finish it off. But with some of the other herbs, my marjoram here, I had another 1.5 pots of this full, and after I'd razzed the 1.5 pots, it actually came down to that amount. So actually it was really quite safe, space saving as well. So that is 1.5 pots of dried before it's razzed around. Makes quite a difference. I've also done some sage in it. You can see that sage is a bit fluffy anyway, but it's come out really well, and I'm very pleased with it. And I did some thyme, which didn't actually make any difference really. I'm not sure if that's because it was just so small in the first place, and perhaps I needed a larger amount in there, but it didn't do so much with the thyme. And then I also tested bay leaves, and some of it is very, very powdery, as you can see, and then some is quite large. So again, if you wanted that finer, you could probably sieve it, but it's fine for me. So So let's start with this. I'm just going to hold the herb and pull downwards on the rosemary and get all of the little spines off. And another reason why I wanted to purchase this and grind all my rosemary is because when we do put it on our roast potatoes, I just find all these little spiky bits. They're not pleasant. My husband doesn't like the spiky bits. I mean, I don't mind pulling my bits off, but again, once they're cooked or roasted, they can be quite spiky. I mean, it's quite spiky now that they're just dried. So this should make quite a difference. And again, you'll get a really good flavour because the amount of concentrated powder you'll sprinkle on. With the seasoning I'm making here, I am also, where is it? Here. It has also got salt and pepper in there because that's how I use my rosemary, with salt and pepper together. And obviously the amounts of salt and pepper is purely up to your own taste, really. We don't put so much pepper in, but mainly it is rosemary. Alright, so I'm just going to carry on doing all of these, fill all this up, and then I'll show you when I put the machine on what it sounds like and how well it grinds. I actually haven't tried rosemary before in this machine. This is literally the first time, so you'll see how it actually does for the first time. I normally use a pestle and mortar for this at home because it's just easy, and I only do a small batch at a time. I don't want to do massive batches because I think it'll, if I do enough for like these little jars for like 3 months at a time, then I've always got a fresh lot ready to go. So I'll just leave it dried, ready to raz in this machine when I need a new pot of the stuff. Okay, that's all in there now. Probably got up to, well, just under the max. We're about there, probably about there. Now that didn't make a real mess. It's just gone like everywhere. It's splattered everywhere. But I'll pick some of this up. Okay, so you sort of pop it in, lock it into place. Then you've got this top cover here with a little button which goes into there. So I'd line that up and then off we go. There's a push button at the top here. So I'm just gonna pulse it for a bit. I can definitely see that the volume inside is going lower as I do this. Now I'm just going to keep it on for a while. Okay, I've kept that on real time for you. So let's have a look at that. Okay. Can you see in there? There's some bits which are still quite large, like fully whole, and then there's other bits that have gone quite powdery. So I'm going to blast that again. Okay, that was in real time again. Now with this machine, because it hasn't got another cap that you put over this before putting this on, as you can see, this has got a little bit dusty. I don't mind that, but if you're doing lots of different herbs, maybe look for one that has a lid on. I know you can get them with a few of these containers and lids as well. Okay, can you see that? That's looking really, really fine. Some of it is very, very fine. And then there are still larger bits in it. So again, I'm going to have to give that another load of blasting, and this won't be in real time. I'll come back to you when I've got it as fine as I can. Okay, so I've blasted that loads now, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'll show you what that's like, if you can see that. There are a few fibrous bits in there still, but a lot of it is powder, so I'm very happy with that. Now that works out in there to just under half a cup. So for just under half a cup, I'm going to put a tablespoon of pepper and 2 tablespoons of pink Himalayan salt. I'm going to razz this together now. And there we go, that's what that's looking like. So I can't wait to use the seasoning. I'll pop it into some little jars. I've got a little funnel just to help me get it in. There's one jar. I might as well put it in the other jar that I've already got some in. And then I'm going to have an extra jar to give to my mum. Okay, I'll give my mum that first jar there. And there we go, we've got our lovely rosemary seasoning. I hope you like my video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more DIYs. Thanks for watching.